everybody from Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, as we have the second of two races in the Porsche Carrera Cup North America. 5 years of the Carrera Cup North America, although this championship in its previous iteration has been raising the heart rate and the blood pressure of commentators, of team members, of drivers, and of course of enthusiasts for sports car and GT racing for many, many more years than that. It's a cracking day as we build up Fast Friday here for the 28th annual Motul Petit Le Mans in the Global Broadcast Centre. I'm John Hindhaugh, and alongside me is Peter Mackay. This circuit is one of the most challenging, and as the cars are ready to go out behind the Race Brew safety car, we'll take a look at what is in store for the teams and drivers. Around 2.54 miles with Riley Dickinson on pole position for this one. We'll spell out the championship in a moment as well, because it is getting very squeaky at the top of the championship standings. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, John. I am very excited indeed for this race. We had a dramatic encounter yesterday in the late afternoon, and the drivers are ready to go. There is a lot on the line in this next 40 minutes.
Well, I'm pleased you mentioned that. Let's just refresh our memories of what happened yesterday. Race control had to get involved a couple of times. Pretty clean start, 3 wide at one point as Aaron Johnson led the field away down towards turn 1. Really quick entry to that. It was Riley Dickinson in the green and white car, and round the outside of him, Ryan Yardley. Dickinson going off the circuit. Race control having incident responsibility applied to the Ryan Yardley top racing car, also by the way off on the grass behind them, a couple of cars. Then there was the Tyler Maxson pass for the lead. That was a no call from race control, so Tyler Maxson took the lead towards the end of the race. He won overall. Alan Metney in the Pro-Am category, and in the Masters category, great run to the line from Scott Blind in the Ruckus racing car. Easy to lose that one in the car park. No, not at all. Let's take a look at the Porsche starting lineup. Peter Atwater will start at the back with Brady Behrman on the 28th position. Alongside him, Joel Johnson for JDX Racing. JTR's Rob Walker in 26th. Then Kelly Moss, Todd Parriott, Richard Edge, Wes Slim, Chris Palomo, Marco Cironi in 21st position. And on the outside of row 10, JP Martinez with John Jodouin for company. Scott Blind is the best of the Masters class qualifiers in this second race. He's in 18th position with Patrick Mulcahy second in Pro-Am. Alongside him, Alan Metney once again on pole in 16th position for the Pro-Am category for Kelly Moss. From here on, it's all pro, and it's Sabra Cook in 15th with Madeline Stewart in 14th, Paul Bocuse in 13th, 12th for Michael D. Casada, and alongside him, Matthias Leist. On the 5th row, Jared Thomas and Jimmy Libra, Yves Boltas, Michael McCann, Cole Kleck, Zach Vanier, Ryan Yardley still leading the championship, Tyler Maxson the winner yesterday, Aaron Johnson and Riley Dickinson on pole position, still in with a shout at the championship. We said it was challenging. That turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, there was action there yesterday. I wouldn't bet against it today. Turn 7 was where the big dive bomb came from Tyler Maxson yesterday. Aaron Johnson somewhat phlegmatic about that and saying, look, I don't race like that. That's not what I do. I'll race my own race today. Also, big breaking point down the hill into turn 10. Championship not quite on the line, Peter, but you do feel that today might set a little bit of a tone for next weekend, and it is next weekend down in Texas.
And of course, Riley Dickinson, the pole sitter, it's his home state. How much is that going to play a factor, I wonder? I hadn't thought of that up to now, but it could well be, being at home could make a big difference for Riley Dickinson. He's trying to win his second Porsche Carrera Cup North America, but he's got to get through Ryan Yardley first. But starting from pole in this race, this is vitally important, I agree.
Top Racing and Kelly Moss battling together with JDX and McCann Racing, ACI Motorsports and JTR in the top 10. there's strength in depth in this field this year. It has not clearly been a runaway championship for Riley Dickinson, or indeed for new leader Ryan Yardley. They come to the line and Riley Dickinson jumps away. That's the perfect start. Aaron Johnson in the dark coloured car has got Ryan Yardley right up his central tailpipes there. 3 wide going into turn 1, down the inside. That is Aaron Johnson staying on the outside rather, as the 77 of Tyler Maxon's right in the fight as well. But Riley Dickinson has jumped away 2 or 3 Porsche's lengths, and the gap at the top of the championship coming into this race, Peter, was
9 points.
Yeah,
that's it. Yardley over Dickinson, but Dickinson leads the way, and Yardley in 4th place is under big pressure from Zachary Vanier in at the Don's Pizza machine, and Dickinson wanting to get on with this early, pulling a couple of car lengths. He's backed into a corner right now. He's had a few difficult rounds, but we know how talented he is, we know how fast he is, and he will be determined to turn the momentum round in his favour, like you say, going into the last round in just a week's time.
Todd Parriot's had a spin for Kelly Moss Racing. That was at turn 4. Hearing from race control, he has continued, albeit down the field, and there's somebody else involved there as well. I think it was Joel Johnson in the number 70 car. I'll get that confirmed if I can. What a little touch there, the GT silver car going sideways. Zach Vanier and
Michael McCann getting a little bit of a nudge there from Jared Thomas in the number 96. Jared Thomas pulling double duty. He's had to do a very quick change from the Mazda MX-5 into the Porsche 992 GT3 Cup.
Spin on the opening lap, as we mentioned, and the rough and tumble in the midfield, always difficult. Yeah, on his own though, in fairness there for Todd Parriott, just held up a couple of cars behind, which is why they're off the back of the field at the moment. I think Peter Atwater for JTR, who had an incident himself yesterday, cracked the rear wing in half of his Porsche. For this year, still called the 911 GT3 Cup. Next year, the 992.2 or .2 will simply be called 911 Cup.
I think that's what everyone refers to it as the Cup car. It's our Cup car. Now, some people, when you say Cup car, they think of a NASCAR, of course, but when anyone says Cup car, I think of a Porsche 911 GT3 Cup. Now, on the back straight, there was quite a lot of loose leaves. Of course, we're heading into the fall now, and some of them, I could be wrong, but just on the grill of Aaron Johnson's Kelly Moss car, there seemed to be just a little bit of leaves gathered there, so hopefully that won't cause them too much of a problem. No, it shouldn't be okay. There's only a couple of them in the grill there, so hopefully his flat 6 will still be breathing fine. 1:22.933 against a 22.984. Riley Dickinson over Aaron Johnson has 3/4 of a second. It's not much, but it's enough. It's enough that Riley Dickinson does not have to defend and put too much energy into his Yokohama tyres. Patrick Mulcahy leading in the Pro-Am category, the cars with the green number backings. I do like the big numbers on the right-hand side of the windscreen. Sort of Brazilian stock car style. We've had it in this championship for a while as well. Really helpful. Alan Metney is about 3/4 of a second behind the Juice Head sponsored number 54. And in Masters, Scott Blend in the yellow and purple number 45 leads Chris Palomo in the number 68 car, who is a couple of spots further back in the Masters category, first and second with Marco Cerrone and JP Martinez in the 2 Pro-Am cars between them. Scott looking for a delightful double this weekend. With a dust up on the road ahead there. Is that one of the other cars just kicking up some dust, leaving turn 10B possibly? It was. Long race here, Peter. Have to look after your Yokohama tyres, and not everyone will have brand new tyres here,
because tyres are used throughout the weekend, and you had a little bit of a spy on the pre-grid, particularly between our two championship protagonists.
Yeah, it looks like Riley Dickinson's got some fairly fresh rubber, because he's gone quicker already than Ryan Yardley did in the race yesterday, and that is significant because there are bonus points for the fast lap. You get 1 for the fastest lap, but you also get 2 for being the race brew pole sitter, which Riley Dickinson was. So right now he's already scored 3 before he's even crossed the line.
So the deficit now is down to,
effectively live, it's down to 6. Dickinson at the moment would score 25 points for where he is, 20 for second, 17 for third, and 14 for fourth place. So actually, if they finish as they are right now, Dickinson would go back into the lead of the championship. So Ryan Yardley's got work to do in that number 78 TCS machine.
A little bit of the hood, the bonnet of Zachary Vanier in the number 9, the white and red car, just flapping a little bit. It's carbon fibre reinforced plastic, as it is on the GT3 road car, which runs exactly the same 500 plus horsepower engine as these racing cars. And let's see if that is causing further problems to that 5th place car.
Saw that quite a lot yesterday on several cars, and it only seemed to happen just as you dip into the sharp downhill going into 10AB, so I don't know if the air just gets underneath it at that point, maybe.
You are channeling air through that. There's a couple of nostrils there. Sideways moment for Yves Boltas in the green and white car, the number 15 ACI Motorsports. He's under pressure with who's that
Cole Kleck
behind him. Cole Kleck had a great run for Top Racing yesterday. Top Racing really living up to their name this season. They've been able to run a fleet of cars, a stable of cars, very consistently towards the front of the field, and Viz, one of their drivers in the championship lead at the moment.
Exactly, that in Ryan Yardley, but also they have extended, after the win from Tyler Maxson yesterday, they have extended their championship advantage over Kelly Moss to 14 points, but at the moment it's a Kelly Moss 1-2, so it's back and forth all the time, and Top Racing really have stepped up a level this year, and you know, if you can beat Kelly Moss over a season, you know you've done a good job.
I think the standard just continues to climb over these last 5 seasons of Carrera Cup North America. Start infringement for Nola Sports, Matthias Leist, in 13th position at the moment in the number 47. He's going to get 10 seconds. He was out of his starting column. That counts as a false start, and so 10 seconds will be applied at the end of the race. Our Alcamel timing partners will do that as he comes across the line. Sadly for him, that is going to cost him an awful lot of real estate, with everything being as tight as it is. Dickinson, another fastest lap, 1:22.655. He's gambling here, because if we see the race brew safety car, you've got to think he's taking quite a lot out of his Yokohama tyres at the front of the field at the moment. Tyler Maxson puts his fastest lap in 3rd, 1:22.896, but it's 1.3 seconds. This is what we saw at the start of the season. This is the Riley Dickinson that we saw at the start of the season. First in the Pro category at the moment, and as it stands, would go back to the lead of the championship if nothing else happens behind it.
Big if. With 32 minutes remaining. But I totally agree with you, John. This is the Riley Dickinson we know. When, you know, in 2023 he had a dominant championship campaign, and when he was on the entry list for this year, I thought, oh, he's going to be the benchmark. And in Sebring, that was the case. He was streets ahead of the field. But drivers like Aaron Johnson, rookie year, Tyler Maxson, rookie year, they have the progression they've made over the course of the season. It's remarkable. They're putting a huge amount of work in behind the scenes. And then you look at Ryan Yardley, who's been the model of consistency. Actually, yesterday was only the 2nd time he hasn't been on the podium. Yeah. And he did finish on the podium on the road, but had a 10-second penalty, of course.
Yeah, lots of penalties handed out post-race, which affected the points-paying positions. On the flasher, Tyler Maxson, yesterday's winner.
Ding ding, round 2.
Yeah, absolutely. These two drivers, this was the scene of the pass for the lead yesterday. Aaron Johnson in that dark ruby red coloured car, passion red, with the silver, the GT silver stripes. That is a wrap, believe it or not, and even close up you would not believe that was a wrap. That technology has come on leaps and bounds. No longer just a field of Porsches in their supplied colours. I well remember pretty much all fields of all Carrera whites as it used to be. They're now supplied in GT silver, which Peter knows the paint code for when he orders his.
Well, I think actually when I order my GT3 RS, I'm going to ask for Johnson Red paint to sample. Of course, I could take that sample to my Porsche Centre and say, I'd like it in that colour, please. I'd like Johnson Red.
Okay.
Well, and a Cayenne in Shiraz.
If you're going to have a fantasy, you might as well make it a total fantasy. So
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the way you went for a GT3 RS with the Weissach pack. Is that just too much?
No. I'm not the right shape for a bucket seat. I think I'll go for the comfort seats.
Okay.
Yeah. Stop giggling at the back.
Just under half an hour to go. Peter has been a Porsche owner in the past. He's strayed to another brand at the moment. I will
be again. I'm convinced.
I'm determined to bring you back to Porsche. So 29 and a half minutes to go. Alan Metni in the now satin black iFly number 99. He's got past Patrick Mulcahy and back to the lead of Pro-Am, which is the pole sitting car, so he'll think he's back where he should be. And he, in fact, in doing that, has put the fastest lap of the Pro-Am race in, 1:23.875. iFly, if you don't know, is indoor skydiving. They're popping up all over the place, not just here in North America. I can't remember where I drove past the other day and recently and saw one and immediately thought of the number 99 car. And if you think indoor skydiving, how do you get a plane flying around indoors? No, it doesn't work like that. Huge fan, big tube. You jump in, fan holds you, and you get the feeling of skydiving free fall. No parachute required. I think there is a weight limit, which unfortunately, at just over 100 kilos, I think I might be outside that. So I'd like to give that a try. I'd really like to do a free fall parachute jump, but as I'm absolutely petrified of heights, that might feel a step too far for me. Yardley and Vanier having a battle.
Is Ryan Yardley's championship in free fall right now? If he's going to lose this position to Zachary Vanier, as Vanier's all
he's
over
got the overlap.
Yep.
Now he gets the side draft, coming up the back straight. And Ryan Yardley has to be sensible here because he can't afford a DNF. Now the side draft goes the other way. Again, the front end of the white and red car just flapping in the breeze down towards turn 10. That was smart driving from Vanier and Yardley there as they came down to turn 10A and 10B. Respectful as well, but you've got to say Ryan Yardley cannot afford to lose concentration here, and he certainly can't afford a DNF with just 2 rounds to go after this one.
That's the last thing he can afford. Out front though, Dickinson is checking out 2.8 seconds to the good. It's been a while since we've seen this, but this has been in his locker the whole time. Yeah. We've seen it so many times in Porsche Carrera Cup North America, and this could not have come at a better time for Kelly Moss and Riley Dickinson, because then, if he can carry on in this way, he then goes into a home race, final weekend of the year, with the momentum behind him. Momentum's everything in sport.
I'm told by our executive producer at RSL in London, Tim Gray, that the weight limit for the iFly in Greenwich, London, is 118 kilos. So I could
just make it in.
So yeah, I think we should have a go at that.
RSL day out. Yeah.
Yep. An iFly day out for the Porsche Carrera Cup North American team. Oh, that cover on the front, that would be the front trunk, the luggage storage area on your GT3 and your GT3 RS.
None in a GT3 RS now, because they've moved the radiators to be more like the race car.
Got you.
So that you lose the front storage compartment. So
well, that's another reason not to get the RS. Just the GT3 Touring, please, because I know exactly how much luggage I can get in that space.
I'm going to go for the RS. I think I just want to live out my GT3 Cup fantasies in that car.
Two Porsche fans at different stages of their life. Me saying, no, I don't need the wings, and Peter going, wings,
more wings,
louvres,
big wings,
wider wheels.
Yes.
Manti kid, maybe?
No, too much.
Okay.
Too much. No.
Manti coming back to racing in IMSA in a limited capacity next year. Heard that yesterday. They'll be running in the endurance series with a couple of cars. And thank you to our replay crew at Concord, who we affectionately call, with much affection, called the Tape Apes. Was with them last weekend. Now keep an eye at the bottom of the hill, the dark coloured 99 going into the lead, down into turn 10 on the brakes, classic manoeuvre. And Patrick Mulcahy he knew the goose was cooked there and realised that he couldn't hold back Alan Metney. His luggage lid flapping around as well. I have seen them pop up on the Cup cars. In fact, it happened a couple of weekends ago when I was in the pit lane at Barcelona for the 24 hours.
Tyler Maxson is looking really threatening here in third place, right on the tail of Aaron Johnson, and both will be acutely aware of what happened yesterday between them, of course, where Maxson put a pretty robust move in to take the lead from Johnson, escaped a penalty for it, and went on to win. So Johnson will be, I'm sure, very aware of that, as will Maxson. Vanier using all the room and kicking up the red Georgia clay on the exit of turn 12.
No rain last night. It is much drier off track than it was yesterday.
Just the 130 miles an hour at that point.
Yeah, 130 miles an hour and grass tracking in a Cup car.
He did have two Yokohamas on the tarmac, which managed to keep him.
Well, at one stage, not
yes,
all. I think it was all four tyres off at one stage. Coming down towards half distance here, with still 2 races to go. We must keep reminding ourselves here, so many championships come to an end at Motul Petit Le Mans, but not this one. We go one more weekend. It's next weekend. If you're watching or listening to this now, same channels next week, same free coverage, same 2 voices, same excitement, and the championship not decided. And unless something really weird happens to one of our 2 championship contenders for the pro class, the championship will not be decided today. In fact, actually, I don't think it can be, even if one of them was to non-finish now.
No, there's too many points
left
on the table.
Up for grabs next weekend.
Yeah, we need to be a gap of more than 56, yeah. No, it's nowhere near that. It's much closer than that. It's been an amazing year in 2025 for Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Maxson's still not able to set up a move yet on Johnson.
Aaron Johnson is one of those drivers who is the absolute epitome of focus forward. Still quite young in age, but with a huge amount of race experience. You seldom see him throwing the car down the inside as a defensive manoeuvre. He backs himself, and indeed yesterday at turn 7, the room that he left up the inside was because he was on the racing line. It was up at turn 7, and we called it exactly as that yesterday in the race. This was the pass for the lead. Looks like Johnson leaves the door open, but it's a late apex there to get onto the power and down the back straight. Significant contact from Maxson, who went on to take the lead. And at race control, calling that a 50-50 incident, incidental contact, racing incident, if you will. But that's not, I'll tell you now, I've seen Aaron come up through the other championships. That will not change Aaron's state of mind or how he's driving that number 24 car. Look, exactly the same line as he took yesterday. Not a millimetre, not an 1/8 of an inch difference. Out front, 3 seconds now, the gap. Riley Dickinson. Now Riley Dickinson can go into, effectively, protect mode. He can go, not into cruise, but he now just has to react to what's going on behind him. There is no pressure on him now. he doesn't have to rag every bit of performance out of his Yokohama tyres for the last 21 minutes, Peter.
And I think he's got to be wary. I'm sure he'll be wary that there is a possibility of seeing the race crew safety car. So if that did happen, he needs to have performance left in the tyre to be able to fight at that point. So yes, managing the gap. There's no point. If you could have the pace to tear away to a 10-second lead, but that might then use too much tyre doing that. So you think 3 seconds, 4 seconds is comfortable-ish. So then, but you do that while maintaining a bit more life in the tyre for that that shootout, if there was one, as we click half race distance.
Now, Kelly Moss, Riley Dickinson leading. Second place, Kelly Moss, Aaron Johnson. Best of the rookies in this race. Then Tyler Maxson, as we've mentioned. And Riley Dickinson doing what he needs to do right now. What about the championship leader, I hear you asking? And you are right to ask that. They're coming out of turn 7 now, just behind that battle for second and third. And right now, Ryan Yardley cannot shake the white and red Zach Vanier JDX Racing. So Kelly Moss, Top Racing, JDX, all in the top 5 at the moment. That flapping at the front of Zach Vanier's car still there. And still Maxson staring at the rear ducktail spoiler, as it's called, of Johnson's car and the rear wing. Bet he knows the parts number of those off by heart by now. As they go across the line, we must keep an eye in the background on that Ryan Yardley, Zach Vanier battle, because that, whilst Vanier is not in the championship fight, he's a bit of a wild card at this point, and I mean that in the nicest possible sense, because he's JDX Racing, so he's not affiliated to either of the two teams battling for the championship, and he's racing for himself and a potential top 4 or better.
And he's trying to keep himself in with a mathematical chance of being champion in Kota. You know, stranger things could happen. At the moment, he trails Yardley, this is Zach Vanier we're talking about, by 39 points.
Yeah,
so every
56
point,
up to go.
Yeah,
this
so
one.
it's getting close to becoming mathematically impossible. So he's got to try and get those points. In the teams championship, the battle on right now between Johnson and Maxson for second place is really, really significant, because if Johnson can hang on to that position, then Kelly Moss all of a sudden will be right back. They'll only be 6 points behind Top Racing in the championship. However, if they switch around, totally different story. They'll then be they'll be 9 points behind.
Score 2 cars in teams.
One. Your top car scores the team points. So right now, so by Johnson, you know, his teammate for Kelly Moss Dickinson is leading the race, but by keeping Top Racing in third,
I see what you mean.
I mean, yeah. So that's you know, important. Right now, if they finished where they were, this could be the race crew safety car coming out, car
Peter,
number 12. Atwater.
Same place as he had the problem yesterday. I think he went a little bit wider today. Lost it under acceleration. Peter Atwater is reversing the green and white number 12. Has he got suspension damage to the left front? Oh, don't go too far. It might still be slippery there. Doesn't high centre the car. Looks across to his right. Four-way flashes come on automatically. I think this is going to be just out over the curb for Peter. Yeah, he just was losing that as he went on the curb and just tags the tyre bundle.
And if you can just about hear that, if you listen very carefully, that's a massive sigh of relief down in the Kelly Moss pits.
Yeah.
Because
travelling slowly, but I think he will get back, and he's staying to driver's left. If he can get that all the way down under the Fox Factory Bridge, he can peel off into the pits, because the pits, of course, are driver's left on the front straight. Further down the field, and what we love about this championship, Porsche Carrera Cup North America, always people battling.
Sabra Cook and Madeline Stewart fighting over 14th position there. Not far behind Matthews Least in the number 47 car.
Paul Kakusa in the 71, just a little bit further up the road as well.
That was very, very close to being a safety car there. If it had taken Peter Atwater any longer to get moving, the full course yellow would have had to be called, and that would have been a disaster for Riley Dickinson and indeed for Kelly Moss, because it would also bring Ryan Yardley back into the conversation as well.
Ryan Yardley's just put a car's length, maybe a little more into Zach Vanier, who didn't get the exit from turn 5 that time around. Dickinson goes through 7. Here comes the battle for second, 3.5 seconds behind. Dickinson is in management mode now. We've seen him do this. He is matching his lap times to what's going on behind. Aaron Johnson last time around was a 23.7, 24 flat for Riley Dickinson. I'll guarantee you he does this time around. Riley Dickinson will do a high 23 because he will be listening to his team and he'll hold that gap at about 3.5 seconds. See if he proves me right or wrong. Down through the final corner. These racing drivers are metronomic. And as he goes through, 24.002. He's let me down, but only slightly. And a 23.757 for Aaron Johnson and Tyler Maxson at 23.751. They're now 3.2 seconds behind, but that 3 seconds gap, as I think, is what he's looking to hold on to at the head of the field. Ryan Yardley did a 23.0. 23.6 and a 23.5 by Zach Vanier. He comes back onto the back of the championship leader.
It's interesting, the rest of the field are between 0.6 to 0.8 of a second away from their fastest lap. Dickinson is 1.4 seconds away from his fastest lap, so that gives you an idea what he's got in the locker. Yes, exactly. And yesterday's fastest lap was set by Ryan Yardley, 122.9, 122.6 this time for Dickinson. And that gets you, of course, that critical point for fastest lap. And this championship could come down to, 2-3 points easily. So you get 2 points for each pole position and 1 point for every fastest lap.
The race brew pole position points may well be championship deciding. It might not look like it at the time, but we set that qualifying session on the Grand Prix track at COTA next weekend. We're going to have to keep our eyes on that massively, aren't we?
It's going to be complex because it's such a long lap there at the Circuit of the Americas, and they have 3 tyre sets, which they actually almost call it Q1, Q2, Q3. The tyres, actually Kelly Moss cars have even got Q2 written on the tyres to indicate that it's the second run in qualifying. So, and interestingly, I had a good chat yesterday with Riley Dickinson and Aaron Johnson, and they were joking about how Aaron was the master of the 3rd set, but Riley was the master of the 2nd set in qualifying.
Still those leaves that Peter Mackay mentioned earlier on in the grill of Aaron Johnson. Well, do you know what? That's getting worse.
Yes, it is.
That is getting worse. And spotted by Jeff Markowski. I hope I said that right for you. On at IMSA Radio. Hello, Jeff. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. So the temperature might just be rising in the water-cooled engine behind Aaron Johnson. The temperature on the track has been a boiling point since the start of the race. And Tyler Maxson with his best opportunity here. And now Johnson does feel the pressure and moves to the left-hand side of the road. That's the first time we've really seen him feel the need to do that. Now, there is a kink there, and he drifted over after the kink. Now down into turn 12, and they're very close indeed across the line. Off onto the dirt from the Apex number 77 car of Tyler Maxson. Now, we did have penalties thrown out for blocking yesterday, so Kelly Moss will be reminding Aaron Johnson that you are not allowed to move in response to the car behind. You have to effectively predict what the guy's doing. Pick your line going into the corner and stick with it. It's not about moving in the braking area, it's all about not responding to the move that's made. So now he's on the racing line, has to stay there into turn 6. Does. And look at what's happening. Yardley and Vanier are gaining on this battle for 2nd and 3rd, Peter.
So there could be vital points to be gained for Ryan Yardley. He's really got to get his head down now and try and get into this fight between Maxson and Johnson. Yardley desperately needs these points because if they finished as they did right now, Riley Dickinson would score 25 for the win, 2 for his pole position and 1 for fastest lap, making a total of 28, whereas Yardley would only score 14 where he is right now, which would flip the championship round in Dickinson's favour. He would head out of Road Atlanta with a 5-point advantage.
Sorry, intake of breath and exclamation from Hindhoff there as Tyler Maxson lost both ends of the car under braking at turn 10A at the bottom of the hill, gathered it up. I don't count Yves Boltas out of this. He's a couple of seconds back from Zach Vanier and Ryan Yardley, who are 3/4 of a second back from the battle for second. But Yves Boltas in clear air is as quick or quicker than the cars ahead of him. So watch out for the green car in 6th position. The ACI Motorsports car making that another team. 4 teams in the top 6. Cole Clegg having another good run for Top Racing in 7th. And the top 10 rounded out by JTR Motorsports, Jared Thomas. And the 3rd best of the rookies in this race, Jimmy Libre from SCI Motorsports, and Allegra Motorsports. Number 11 in 10th position is Michael Di Casada. That's your top 10. Pro-Am still Alan Metney by about 3 seconds now from Patrick Mulcahy, Marco Cironi and JP Martinez, 3rd and 4th. And the Masters, Scott Blind inside the top 20, leading that class in the Ruckus 45, with Richard Edge and Chris Belomo disputing 2nd and 3rd, and Rob Walker right there. So a decent little battle for the last 2 spots on the box for the Masters category. 3 cars, 2 steps on the podium. But at the front, it's still that metronomic lap time from Riley Dickinson, another 24.0. That must be 5 or 6 24.0s that he's rolled off in consecutive laps, and he holds that lap at that lead at just over 3 seconds. I thought that would be the target time, 3 to 3.5 seconds. And he's doing that with 9 minutes to go. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for Riley Dickinson.
This will be such a confidence boost, because I'm sure over the course of the mid part of the season, I'm sure there'll be some doubts creeping in, going, am I as strong as I used to be? And of course he is, but it's more, proving that to yourself again and again and again. So it's this will be massive for the momentum in the championship.
Incident responsibility warning for Maddie Stewart for contact with Sabra Cook, who's just gone past her in that battle for 14th and 15th. Just a warning for that one. Peter Atwater in and out of the pits last time around as well. Yves Boltas, 6th position, 7.5 seconds away from the lead, but he is closing in on that battle ahead. Alan Metney lost the lead briefly in the Pro-Am class, but that satin, is it black, is it dark grey? I'm calling it charcoal, actually.
There's a bit of charcoal in
yeah.
there. GT Silver highlights. A big thank you to Reese White from Porsche Motorsport North America, who is our in-house abacus, who is quite rightly correcting me that actually, if they finish where they were right now, it would only be a 3-point lead for Riley Dickinson, not 5. Don't ask me to count up to 50.
It is Scott Blind by 15 seconds in the Masters class. The battle that is going on further down the Masters class between Richard Edge, Rob Walker and Chris Belomo. In fact, no, not Chris Belomo, because in 4th place now as they go across the line just under us here in Masters. That's Joel Johnson for JDX Racing. So
problem for the number 8 machine there. That is Michael McCann at car at it just looks like a spin more at turn 6.
There was a big set of revs from the flat 6. That is the GT Silver, the colour in which all the cars arrive from Porsche Motorsport. Oh, I got it. No, I don't. And then he has to let Scott Blind go through as well. And there's Tom Jadwan and Scott Blind going by. Another couple of cars as well. Yeah, something's happened there to Chris Belomo. Oh, he's pitted. Chris Belomo has pitted from that battle between himself, Rob Walker and Richard Edge for 2nd place. And that's elevated Joel Johnson to 4th place.
Interesting how strong Riley Dickinson has control over this race, because the gap had just come down to 2.5 seconds. It blocks quite a bit of time to Aaron Johnson. was lapping, as you said, 124s. He was 124.2 2 laps ago. Just put in a 123.3 just to put it right back up to that 3-second marker. So Riley Dickinson has this well under control right now with just over 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, and he's got traffic ahead. Todd Parriott in the number 13 Kelly Moss car. So under the same awning, all the drivers fighting for themselves, of course. That green and white Kelly Moss livery, Racing for Children's. Absolute classic livery. Well, remember in the main race, the car running with that, with the handprints, all different fluorescent colours back down through the years. So yeah, just puts in that another 23.7. So just up the pace a little bit with 5 minutes to go. Must be thinking now that even if the race brew car, safety car had to come out, Peter, it would essentially mean there'd be no time to restart the race. And I think he's now just making sure that he keeps his concentration. He's pulled that gap to Aaron Johnson, who's driven a perfect race in second. You cannot say that Aaron has made any mistakes at all. Has not put a Yokohama tyre or wheel out of place. But Maxon in behind him, and Yardley and Vanier still there.
Yes, they are. Last time by, Maxim was 0.2 of a second quicker than Johnson. So the gap is now very, very tight between them. Yardley and Vanier. Actually, Vanier was the quickest of them all on the previous lap. So it is all tightening up as we head 4 minutes to go. Riley Dickinson.
It's 3 laps, isn't it, really?
This is the performance that we haven't seen for several race weekends, but we knew was in there because we've seen it so many times before.
So much of motor racing, and particularly at this level of Porsche Carrera Cup, single car, single manufacturer racing, is a global formula, Peter. So it is a standard to which you can judge drivers from all over the world. In fact, there's a young driver shootout coming up in November, where each championship from around the world will nominate a young driver, and someone is chosen at the end of a couple or 3 days to be a Porsche supported driver, and there's some great drivers come through that. But to me, to be able to see these cars all over the world racing in the same specification, it really means you can then look across those championships and see where the next generation of talent is coming from.
And how are Porsche Motorsport North America going to pick from this bunch?
I've no clue.
It's a hard decision to make. To see
I've heard down at Porsche headquarters at Atlanta, there's a dartboard that has been bought with race numbers and a blindfold. I honestly, the talent this year in this championship. I mean, look at that top 6: Dickinson, Johnson, Maxim, Yardley, Vanier, Bottas. All aspiring pro drivers at the start of their careers. At the start of what I expect to see those names for many years to come.
So do
They'll
I.
outlast me in the sport, probably.
I understand that Tyler Maxon has plans to continue his progression where it is and keep that progression going. And if he can keep that going, well, the sky's the limit for him. And he's right on the back of his. You can have a look at the S's, surely not.
No.
Oh,
no.
Right all over the back of Johnson. This really, really matters.
Imagine, Johnson has been under pressure for 40 minutes. Plus, he's had that Tyler Maxon 77 Apex blue and yellow car on his tailpipes since basically the start of the race.
Knowing also what happened yesterday,
Absolutely.
which I'm sure will not escape his mind. But he's handling the pressure really well as Johnson. Now Vanier going to make a move on Yardley for 4th position, and this is huge for the championship if Vanier could get that move done.
Drops back into the slipstream there, Peter. He needs to go the left-hand side, not the right, but that's not being given to him by Yardley, who pulls into the middle of the track. Now, can the over and under manoeuvre work? It'll be white flag and 2.5 miles to go. There's no doubt to me that Yardley is defending quite stoutly here. White flag out for the leader, but it's the battle for 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th that will keep our attention as Dickinson's pulled out to nearly 4 seconds. But championship implications, every position that Yardley can hold on to keeps that championship tight as you like going into the final 2 rounds. Next weekend, and a spin again for Todd Parriott in the dark grey number 13, but he's fine, he's continued, it won't affect the battles. What about this second place on the podium? 2 rookies. Kelly Moss's Aaron Johnson been in second for pretty much all of the race. Tyler Maxson been in third for pretty much all the race. It was a robust overtaking manoeuvre at the next corner to where they are now. What will Aaron Johnson do? He does not defend. He went for the exit, and he knows he's going to have a good run. Riley Dickinson, at 4 seconds on the field, is back to winning ways, and as it stands, will squeak back to the lead of the championship. But maybe Zach Vanier in the mostly white car still has a part to play in that championship. Dickinson adds another W to the column for 2025 and will go to his home state as the leader once again in Porsche Carrera Cup North America. Through in second, a mistake for Maxson and a mistake for Vanier, who almost takes the position on the grass. So Yardley dropped back, Maxson dropped back to 5th place. So Yardley into second, that affects into third, that affects the championship. Now, is that going to tie them up? That's going to be so tight.
Get the abacus back out.
Riley Dickinson has the fastest lap, so we'll take the point for that. Alan Metney through to claim a relatively comfortable 4.5-second victory over Patrick Mulcahy and Marco Cironi in Pro-Am, and we're waiting for Scott Blind. There he is, 18.5 seconds over Richard Edge, and Rob Walker coming through in third for the Masters. But drama at the last 2 corners. Dickinson 3 and a bit seconds ahead. So let's try and work out what happened there. Maxson was in third and has finished 5th behind Vanier. Yves Baltas in 6th. No doubt about the winner. No doubt about second. But Yardley into third.
Championship points?
Yeah.
All
tied.
Square. Tied.
Yeah, I
going
thought
into
so.
the final round. How much do you like
Can't get
that?
any closer. So Johnson's on his own. So Maxson's made a mistake at the top of the hill.
Or he let Yardley through for the championship.
Yes, possibly.
I think he's backed out of it to let Yardley go through. And Vanier's not expected that at all.
Vanier takes the checkered flag, all 4 Yokohamas on the grass. Yeah, that must have happened at 10A, 10B or the run down the hill.
Yeah.
Well, is that the team game being played? Tyler Maxson in the rookie fight as well, let's not forget, for Top Racing. Aaron Johnson for Kelly Moss taking second and the best of the rookies. Unofficially, as we always say, subject to post-race technical inspection and any further investigation from race control, here's how they crossed the line. Riley Dickinson back to winning ways for Kelly Moss Racing. His teammate Aaron Johnson, the best of the rookies, in second. Ryan Yardley up to third in the last corner or so. The championship leader coming in this weekend is still the championship leader, but now joint with Riley Dickinson in the overall championship. Zach Vanier takes 4th place with all 4 Yokohamas on the grass. Tyler Maxson, who was third, drops down to 5th ahead of Yves Baltas. Cole Kleck, Jared Thomas, Michael D. Quesada and Jimmy Heber round up the top 10. Then it's Paul Bacchus ahead of Sabra Cook and Matty Stewart, who had a great battle, ended up 12th and 13th. Matthias Leist with a penalty, of course, applied after the checkered flag. Michael McCann. Alan Metney ahead of Patrick Mulcahy in the Pro-Am category, with JP Martinez in third. He finished up in 20th position. Scott Blind takes the Masters in 19th with an 18.5-second gap back to Richard Edge, who had a race-long battle with Rob Walker for the final 2 positions on the Masters Pro podium. Joel Johnson up into 4th in that category. Then Westlin, Brandy Behrman, Todd Parriott, Peter Atwater and Chris Palomo all had issues. Take a deep breath, everybody, because we reconvene in under a week's time on the Formula One support menu, if you will. Circuit of the Americas, twisty, turny, Riley Dickinson's home race, and a championship that goes in to the great state of Texas, all square. It has to be decided next weekend. Join Peter Mackay and me, John Hindhaugh, and we'll have a championship winner.